Yes, Sheikh. The question I had was, I'm applying for jobs now, and the trend I've seen is when we apply for jobs, we have to edit our CV to suit that job. So if it is minor corrections, I think it is fine. What happened to me recently is that my friend was telling that you have to edit your CV to make it look like you have experience of the field which you don't have. And he said this is just to get the interview, since the CV is nowadays tracked automatically for keywords and all that. My question is this considered like cheating?
What do you think?
If it's,
what do you think?
My instinct, yes, I think it's cheating.
Alhamdulillah, you are upon nature and your heart is still pure and clean and following Islam, because this is what any true Muslim would feel. How would I write in my experience that I am fluent in French and German and in other languages, that I know how to use Excel, which I definitely don't know how to use, and that I am good in accounting and I'm good in forecasting the plans of 10 years, and I've never done this in my whole life. And then when they ask me through the interview, mashallah, so how to sum up a table in Excel, how to do that? Beats me. I just tell the secretary and he does it. Okay, what about the forecast for next 5 years? What about the sales? How do you make that plan? I don't know. I'll probably Google it. This is not acceptable. A Muslim does not lie. The rizq is in the hands of Allah. Be truthful, say the truth, beautify it, but without lying and cheating, and trust Allah, He will grant you the rizq that you want, inshallah.
Sheikh, I'm from India, and the government of my state introduced a scheme for women that they will give 2,000 amount per month for assistance. Though I don't know the intention behind this, as the election is there in upcoming 5 months. Is it considered as a person to receive this amount as a bribe to attain the votes from voter? Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wajazakum. If the state grants you a gift and it's unconditional, it's not a loan that you have to pay in addition to some interest to it, and it's unconditional. They don't force you to vote for them or for any other party. It's just a gift. There's no problem in taking it, inshallah.
I heard recently the Salaf used to, how do you put it? They used to be happy with the bad qadr and the good qadr. And
what is that?
That they used to be happy, the Salaf used to be happy with the good and the bad qadr, meaning they accept the good and the bad, and they'll be pleased with whatever Allah gives them.
No, this is not true. Who said this?
I was watching it on YouTube.
Akhi, there is a difference between being happy with a bad qadr, which is the death of your son, the death of your mom, the death of your father. This is bad qadr for you, which is a calamity. You're telling me that the Salaf, when their children died, they would throw a party and say, hey, my son died? Definitely not. So they were not happy. However, they were content. This is called ar-rida. Yes, this is a different thing. When the Prophet's son, and I apologize for interrupting, but I'm just saving your time and mine and the viewers. When the Prophet's son, Ibrahim, died, and he was an infant, and he was the only male child, the only male offspring that the Prophet had at the time, ﷺ, when he was like 62 years of age. So he was very happy to have him, as the idol worshippers were always mocking the Prophet ﷺ for not having a male offspring that would carry his name. And they used to call him Al-Abtar, the one who's cut off. And that's why we read in the shortest surah of the Quran, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. The one who hates you and says these awful things about you is the one who's cut off and would not be remembered or mentioned later on in time. And this is a prophecy that is fulfilled till date. No one remembers Abu Jahl or Umayyah ibn Khalaf or Utbah ibn Rabi'a, Shayba ibn Rabi'a, and the likes. Nobody knows who they are or calls their names. But the Prophet's name, ﷺ, is mentioned all over the world, 5 times a day, round the clock, 7 days a week, and so forth. So when his son, whom he had great hopes on, all of a sudden died, he wasn't happy, he was content. So he said, القلب يحزن والعين تدمع ولا نقول إلا ما يرضي الرب وإنا على فراقك يا إبراهيم لمحزونون. The heart is saddened, the eyes weep, and we do not say anything except that which pleases Allah, but by Allah we are saddened and heartbroken for departing you, Ibrahim. That's it. End of story, and life goes on. So I hope this answers your doubt.
So I want to start an working on online business, but there may be some disagreements like in selling. So I want to start business selling and buying and stuff. So there may be disagreements between the seller and buyer, and the sites that provide the service of like buying and stuff is like in the event of dispute or attempted fraud, you have to submit a complaint to the site, which will study the evidence and decide on the case. However, this site's decision is like final and you cannot reject it. So I'm afraid that this is referring to something other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed.
Akhi, this is not practical. If you have no other alternative than to deal with a proxy site that would become the mediator between you and the one buying from you, you have no other option. Of course, the best thing is to buy and sell directly, but as you've stated correctly, there might be a huge amount of fraud from either side, from the buyer or from the seller. So in order to protect each party's rights, you have such sites, but some of these sites are not fair. Some of them are biased, and they always take the side of the buyer. So the seller ends up losing money. But this is a risk you have to take and agree, because otherwise you would not have any means of selling your products except on such a platform. Try your level best so that everything is crystal clear, but at the end of the day, this is not legislating to other than Allah's laws, because this is not a company that would be arbitrating to the Sharia law, because you live in a kafir country and they deal with their kafir laws and you're obliged to do this. And the same thing happens when you fly using their airplanes and a dispute takes place. You charge them or you sue them for the delay or the loss of your baggages. Again, so many things that our lives are connected with their laws, and we're obliged to deal with that in order to get our rights. So this is a risk that you have to undertake, or otherwise, as they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.